Con, man. Con, all praises. All praises, man. No, I just wanted to say, Shabbat Shalom, family. You know what I mean? Happy rest. Right. Shabbat Shalom to Israel, to Yasharala. Y'all know the vibe. Today, man, I kind of just wanted to do this little live thing, right? This live little lesson. Something short and sweet. I haven't done this in a while. Like I've done it way kind of like a year and a half ago, kind of 2 years ago with the Book of Lamentations. But today I wanted to do a little read along of the Book of Sirach or the Book of Ecclesiasticus, as you see right here. Um, you know, this is one of my favorite books in the Bible, man. As when I got into this, you know, to this what we call truth, you know what I mean? Um, I started reading this book and I don't know, every single time I read it, even every single time I you know what I mean? Like I open up a book and or open up a chapter in this book, there's always something to kind of get into. There's always something to talk about. And I kind of just wanted to talk about it, right? Let me just see something real quick. And but yeah, I want to just, read along. I don't know how far I'm gonna go, but yeah, I kind of just wanted to do this little lesson, short and sweet. Um, And if y'all have y'all Bibles with y'all, hey, y'all can read along with me. Also, too, I'm gonna be in my hold on, I'm looking at the chat. And Shalom, sister, and Shalom Vic. Come on, Quaranop. But Shalom to the family too, that's on the live. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to just do this little read along. I also have a Q&A, so and if anybody has any questions, um, just feel free to put it in the comment section. Right. Shout out BOW Vegas, man. Zakar, Lyle, EJ, man. Shalom to the whole family, matter of fact, man. It's my peoples, man. But yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna start, man. Hey, can y'all see my screen okay? Can y'all see the Bible scripture on the screen? I just want to make sure. Okay, con. Okay, con. It's good. All right. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna get right into this. Like I said, I'm gonna be reading the book of Ecclesiasticus, and as you see here, this book is not in no regular King James version. It's going to be in the 1611, right? And this is like the first rendition of the King James Bible. Later on, they started taking out books, this, that, and the third, because the Protestant church was not feeling them. But we read what's in the old school manuscripts, man. We don't just be reading what's popular in today's realm, right? But yeah, I just wanted to get that out the way. Oh, y'all don't see? Hold up. Let me see something. Let me see, man. Maybe I got it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm tripping. My bad. This is my first time doing a live. I usually just do regular whatchamacallit, like recordings. Y'all see it good? Hold on, I'm gonna wait for y'all. Shalom, sister. Khan is good. It's good. Okay, I think it's good. Salakia, family. Like I said, it's my first live. I usually just do them regular recordings. But yeah, let's start in the prologue. And it's kind of funny too, right? Because in my English 110 class at the school that I go to, we're actually reading a book, like a native indigenous book, and my English teacher, was actually, he likes reading everything. We started reading the prologue of that book. So when, obviously when he started to bring out the prologue of the book that we were reading, I was thinking about the whole time, I was thinking about the book of Sirach because the book of Sirach has a prologue, as you see right here, right? But but like I said, let's get right into this though. Let's get right to this. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes or the book of Sirach. Um, and we're going to start with the prologue, right? And it reads, a prologue made by an uncertain author. This Jesus was the son of Sirach and grandchild to Jesus of the same name with him. This man therefore lived in the latter days, after the people had been led away captive and called home again. And my apologies too. I know that this this writing might be unfamiliar with people. This is just old English. So if I, get some words wrong because some words are spelled differently, please forgive me. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to let that known too. Right. But yeah, let's keep continuing, right? This man therefore lived in the latter days after the people had been led away captive and called home again, and almost after all the prophets. Now his grandfather Jesus, as he himself witnesseth, was a man of great diligence and wisdom among the Hebrews. So this man right here, he was of great diligence and of great wisdom. That's what this book is really all about. It's about the wisdom, truth, knowledge, and understanding. That's why I love this book so much because um just like how you read the book of Proverbs or the book of Psalms, you kind of get the same vibes with this book right here. So that's why I really love the wisdom, I really love the game, whatever you want to call it, that comes with this book because it's never ending. Even though it's only this book is 51 chapters, man, I feel like this book in particular just never stops with knowledge. And my apologies too. I do have a train right next to the apartments that I live in. So if you guys hear the train, just forgive me again, right? But let's keep on reading though. So this man was of great diligence and wisdom among the Hebrews, who did not wantonly gather the grave and short sentences of wise men that had been before him, but himself also uttered some of his own, full of much understanding and wisdom. When as therefore the first Jesus died, leaving the book almost perfected, Sirach or Sirach, his son, receiving it after him, left it to his own son Jesus, who having gotten it into his hands, compiled it all orderly into one volume. So, like as we see here, we see how this book is being compiled right now. So the lineage of Jesus right here, this is not the Jesus that we see in the New Testament, but that was a common name, for the Hebrews, because if you just translate the name Jesus into English, it's just Joshua. And Joshua, it's kind of common name, I guess you can say. Right. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that too. Just so y'all don't get confused when I'm talking about Jesus here, right? Um, but yeah, where did I leave off right here? I'll just start right here. Who having gotten it into his hands, compiled it all orderly into one volume and called it wisdom. Um, entitling it, yeah, both by his own name, his father's name, and his grandfather's, alluring the hearer by the very name of wisdom to have a greater love to the study of this book. It, um, man, it containeth therefore wise sayings, dark sentences, and parables. So this book right here, it contains wise sayings, like I was saying, dark sentences, meaning like I don't want to call it a riddle, but it's kind of like hidden messages, right? So yeah, these dark sentences would be like hidden messages and parables, which is like another way of saying like a metaphor or whatever the case, right? And certain particular ancient godly stories of men that please God, also his prayer and song. Moreover, what benefits God had vouch have Salakia outsaved his people. Salakia, that's a crazy word. And what plagues he had heaped unto their enemies. This Jesus did imitate Solomon and was no less famous for wisdom and learning, both being indeed a man of great learning, and so reputed also. The prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach, whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed their steps, for the which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom. Oh yeah, yeah, nah. It does take a little while to figure out not for surely. Um, but yeah, nah, do you know how this English go? Well, I don't know if you were talking about the StreamYard, but yeah, um, that too. So that Slakia. The prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach, whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed their steps, for the which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only or only the readers must needs become skillful themselves, but also they that desire to learn and be able to profit them which are without, both by speaking and writing. My grandfather Jesus, when he had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom. So our fellow forefather, he got inspired, man, by by the Torah and the Tanakh. He said, yeah, nah, matter of fact, I'm getting much what I just read right here. Um he got much I guess how do you say it? Influence, right? By the books that he was reading of our prior forefathers even before him. So he was like, man, I'm just gonna do it myself. It literally says was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, right? So he was inspired, and obviously God had inspired him to do so, right? But let's keep on reading. To the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things might profit much more in living according to the law. Wherefore, let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us, wherein we may um, seem to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. Right. So this is kind of powerful too, right? Because this is saying, some things that are translated from the Hebrew into another language don't have the same like emphasis or even the same message, right? Because the Hebrew language is the foundation of the scriptures. So when, for example, when we translate some words from Hebrew to English, it's not going to be the same. For example, in the book of Acts, well, that's written in Hebrew or in Greek, my bad. But we can even use the Greek, right? Because the New Testament was written in the Greek, right? The the Hebrew scholars that translated the Hebrew to the English had translated the word Passover into Easter, right? And what I'm trying to say is that like Easter doesn't have the same emphasis or even the same message as what Luke was trying to say in the book of Acts as pertaining to the Passover, right? So that's pretty much what this is talking about here. But obviously for the Hebrew scriptures, such as the Old Testament, right? Um, but yeah, I just wanted to give you that like a little breakdown per se. Right. Yeah, you gotta be addicted to the word. And shalom to the sister Barb, and everybody that's in here too. Salakia for missing your comments. And yeah, yeah, a sharp double Shabbat, that's a fact. It's the new moon and the weekly Sabbath, so we gotta give all honor and glory and praise, right? And I'm looking at my phone for the comments too. Because like I said, this is my first time doing this live. So I'm reading the comment section on my phone. But yeah, let's continue. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. For in the 8th and 13th year coming into Egypt, when Evergetes, and my bad for my pronunciation, was king, And continuing, there's some time, I found a book of no small learning. Therefore, I thought it most necessary for me to bestow some diligence and travail to interpret it, using great watchfulness and skill in that space, to bring the book to an end and set it forth for them also, which in a strange country are willing to learn, being prepared before in manners to line after the law. Um, all wisdom coming from the Lord and is with him forever, right? And that was verse 1, right? Finally, right? Probably one of the longest, you know what I mean, things that you can read in the Bible as pertaining to like just straight literature, right? Because the Bible, is compiled in verses and whatnot. This is probably like one of the longest passages, maybe not. Um, but yeah, let's continue. Let's continue with chapter 1, though. That was the prologue, family. Now we're going to get into the actual chapter of the book of Ecclesiastes, right? But yeah, let's continue. This is verse 2. Who can number the sand of the sea and the drops of rain and the days of eternity? Right. And he said that right after saying, all wisdom coming from the Lord and is with him forever. So he's saying, man, like essentially the Lord is the only person that could sand the sea and the drops of rain and the days of eternity. Because who are we, man? Like, matter of fact, the Bible calls us as the sand of the sea because we're so plentiful as Israelites, right? So how can we number the sand of the sea if we're a part of the sand of the sea? So that's kind of like just some rhetorical questions that the author of the book of Ecclesiastes is talking about, right? But let's continue. Who can find out the height of heaven and the breadth of earth and the deep and wisdom? Like, who can do that, right? Essentially only the Lord, right? Let's continue though. Verse 4. Wisdom have been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting. The word of God most high is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments, right? And the reason why it says and her ways are everlasting commandments is because in the Bible, wisdom, is pertained unto a woman, right? It's like unto a woman. So when you're reading the Bible, you kind of got to understand the language that is kind of like using. So a lot of the time when wisdom is being talked about, it's gonna put it in a female perspective, I guess you want to call it, right? And we can bring that out with other books, like in the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, it does that a lot too. Also in the Book of Proverbs and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know if you guys did not know already, right? You guys probably do. I'm just letting the people know that weren't necessarily familiar with that, right? But yeah, let's continue. It reads, to whom have the rule of wisdom been revealed, or have known her wise counsels, right? These are all rhetorical questions. Unto whom have the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who have understood her great experience? There was one wise and greatly to be feared, the Lord sitting upon his throne, right? So the Most High God, he knows all these things, right? He's all these things at the end of the day. He takes credit, right? And it reads, verse 9, he created her and saw her and numbered her and powered her out upon all his works. She is with all flesh according to his gift, and he have given her to them that love him. The fear of the Lord is honor and glory and gladness and crown of rejoicing. The fear of the Lord maketh a merry heart and giveth joy and gladness and a long life. That's a fact. Let me ask you this. Let me ask y'all this though. Why does fear give you a long life? If you guys could answer me that, why do you guys think that fear gives you a long life? Why is the Lord saying fear? Have fear in your life. I'm gonna wait for a comment to see why you think the Lord is asking for fear and why fear will give you a long life at that. Oh, I'm saying, oh yeah, Quaranop saying, "Con she bad." Oh yeah, no, wisdom is cold. Wisdom is cold. Always. Yeah, Aaliyah, exactly. It keeps you out of danger. A lot of the times, man, like people really don't have no fear, man. Like that's why you see a lot of like, for example, let's use this as an example. Like people that got crazy road rage, man. If you're on the freeway, right, and you see somebody going 150 miles an hour just swerving and cutting through cars and stuff, man, they got no fear, man. But with that being said, they will have a great possibility of not having a long life because they're just living and doing who knows what, man. They're damn near killing themselves because they got no fear. So that's why the Lord is saying, the fear of the Lord maketh a merry heart, a happy heart, right? And giveth joy and gladness on a long life. Because fear is going to keep you alive. Fear is going to keep you vigilant. Fear is going to keep you, um, fear is going to give you great discernment when the enemy comes into your life, right? So fear is very important, man. I love talking about fear because fear is misconstrued a lot of the times in today's world, right? Shalom, Sister Angel. Shalom. He said, homosexuality act, that's asking to die early. That's a fact. That's a fact. And the reason why they're dying early is because you live through your seed line. So if you are practicing those wicked acts, then you're not going to live on, man. A tree lives on because it bears its fruit and drops its seed. But if a person is not dropping his seed because he just likes to be in his own little bubble, or you know what I mean, then that tree is gonna die by itself. It's not gonna grow and bear new trees and whatnot. Um, Shalom, my family just came in. Nah, Salakia family. That was just my family coming into the apartment and whatnot. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to I just wanted to make that grand point though, right? I wanted to make that grand point. Um, but Salakia family, let me just continue real fast, right? And it reads, verse 13. Whoso feareth the Lord, it shall go well with him at the last, and he shall find favor in the day of his death, right? He shall find favor in the day of his death. This is cold. Yeah, they coming in all loud. Yeah, man, you already know. Yeah, yeah, you know how it is. It's all right though. It's all right. Um, but yeah, it says right here, and he shall find favor in the day of his death. Why is fearing the Lord going to give you favor in the day of your death? I'm gonna answer that. It's because fear had kept you alive the whole time. Then when you're at your old age, you're gonna be like, damn, the fear that I had for the Most High kept me alive to live out my days, to live out my generations. So that's why it's important, man. But let's continue. Let's continue. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's what we need. That's the foundation. Because if we don't fear the Most High God and acknowledge His Son Yahweh, then what's the point, man? What's the point? You're doing everything in vain at that point. Because if you don't fear the Lord, then you're not going to keep the commandments. Just like how if you don't fear your parents, you're not going to listen to them when they tell you to do something, right? So it's the same way, right? It's the same way, but Let's continue real fast, right? Verse 15. She had built an everlasting foundation with men. So wisdom had built an everlasting foundation with men, and she shall continue with their seed. To fear the Lord is fullness of wisdom and filleth men with her fruits, right? So wisdom is going to fill you up with fruits, with good works. So, that's all a part of wisdom, right? That fear of the Lord that we're talking about right here. She filleth all their house with things desirable, and the gardeners with her increase. The fear of the Lord is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gifts of God, right? And then enlargeth their rejoicing that love him. Wisdom raineth down skill and knowledge of understanding, right? And exalteth them to honor that hold her fast, right? So, it's kind of self explanatory, but yeah. The root of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, right? We got to emphasize that, right? We always got to emphasize that. And the branches thereof are long life. And that's cold. The branches thereof are long life. Because if we look at ourselves like a tree, we're growing, right? We're growing and we're growing stems, right? We're growing branches, right? The longer the branches are, the longer the tree had lived. So with that being said, it's like the fear of the Lord, which keeps you alive, is gonna make you have longer branches. Is gonna make you bear more fruit, more good works, etc. So that's kind of just like a metaphorical way of saying that, right? But yeah, the fear of the Lord driveth away sins, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath. You know, it turns away, it drives away sins, man. If you fear the Lord, you're gonna, what I mean, not listen to your family when they offer you carnitas, or when they offer you chitlins, or when they offer you a ceviche con mariscos, or with shrimp. You know what I mean? If you fear the Lord, you're not going to listen to your family, because you're going to be like, nah, like, matter of fact, I love God so much that my family's meals that they made for me, it ain't nothing, because God told me not to eat these things. So yeah, that's that, right? Let's keep on reading. Verse 22. A furious man cannot be justified, for the sway of his fury shall be his destruction, right? For the sway of his fury shall be his destruction. Because if somebody was just, crashing out, doing this, that, and the third, man, he's destroying himself. Y'all know that, right? It's self-explanatory. A patient man will bear for a time, and afterward joy shall spring up unto him. He will hide his words for a time, and the lips of many shall declare his wisdom. Right? So he shall hide his words for a time. But other people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, no, that's a good guy." This person that hides his words, he doesn't have to call himself a good guy, because the people around him already know his characters and are speaking for him. It's just like when, like an amazing athlete, right? Let's put LeBron up, for example. LeBron's not going to call himself the GOAT. Other people are going to call LeBron the GOAT, because he don't need to, man. His fruits show it, right? And I don't want to hear no Jordan and Jordan and LeBron debate in the comment section. I don't want to hear none of that, right? I just seen y'all. I love you, mom, but not eating that. No, that's a fact. That's just a fact. I'm not eating that. And then Leah said, "I don't care what nobody say, especially when it's being cooked, chilling, stank." Yeah, man, that's the intestines, man. Like pig intestines at that, man. It's kind of crazy. Going off. Yeah, no, it's bad news. Yeah, it's bad news. I ain't gonna lie. I remember, oh yeah, nah. I don't know, the smell of pork, it don't even sit right. Like a lot of the time when we're going street preaching, we're around a lot of um like hot dog vendors, right? And you smell the pork and the bacon and whatnot. And I'm like, damn, like back in the day when I used to go to church and when they used to give us pork every Sunday meal, man, that shit used to be hella good. And my bad for my language, but that used to be so good, like eating pork after church service and being kumbaya wherever. But nowadays, if you give me a hot dog with extra bacon on there wrapped around, nah, it don't even smell right no more. You said poop noodles. Yeah, no, it's bad news. Burnt throw up. Yeah, nah, it's bad news, family. It's always bad news. But yeah, nah, it's just not the same, right? To put it like that. Um, but yeah, just like how the prologue was saying, like right here, verse 25, the parables of knowledge aren't the treasures of wisdom, but godliness or godlessness is an abomination to a sinner, right? Or no, but godliness, Slakia, that is godliness, is an abomination to a sinner, which meaning holiness is gonna be like, I'll put it like this, like kind of like cringy to the sinner, because he's gonna be like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to listen to God. Who the hell is God? I don't want to listen to that guy that I read in a book. He's just made up, But hey, man, I ain't gonna lie. Everything, if you want to put it like that, man, everything's damn near made up, bro. All right, but yeah, no, that's another topic, right? Let's keep on reading though. If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments, and the Lord shall give her unto thee. For the fear of the Lord is wisdom and instruction, and faith and meekness are his delight. Distrust not the fear of the Lord when thou art poor, and come not unto him with a double heart. Be not a hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed in what thou speakest, right? We can't be this brother Quarana, he said, yeah. But yeah, be not a hypocrite, family. If you're teaching to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, you should try to keep those laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, right? Take good heed what thou speakest, because everything is going to come back to you. If you're preaching the good news, you should be living through that. And if you're going contrary to that, then you kind of look like a fool, man. Like, let's be honest. So yeah, let's try to make ourselves look good, family. And not for the cameras, not for your family and friends, but to God, to the most high God, Yahweh. Because he's the person that got our whole movie up, and you know what I mean? He got that. You know, he got the whole footage, man, of our life. So there's no hiding with God. There's no hiding whatsoever, right? But it reads, ¿aló? Ah, sí, en unos ratitos, está bien. Ah, en 20 minutos, ¿está bien? No. No. No, está bien, está bien. No, no preocupes, no preocupes. Dale, dale, güey. My bad, family. Yeah, nah, it's just my family. They want to use the blender. So yeah, nah, I should have done this earlier. Slack you though, family. Yeah, I should have done this earlier, but it's all right though. We're gonna keep going through it, right? This is verse 30 though. Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so God discover thy secrets, and cast thee down to the midst of the congregation, because thou camest not in truth to the fear of the Lord, but thy heart is full of deceit. Mm. Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall. Right? Like what was I just talking about right here? And so God can discover thy secrets, man. You know what I mean? There's no hiding. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Sister Barb. Exactly. There's no hiding. There's no hiding from the Most High, man. He got everything, man. He got you in 4K, right? Like how we like to say, right? But let's continue. Let's go to the next chapter, family. Chapter 2. And I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'll probably just keep it to these two short chapters, or to these two chapters, matter of fact. Well, maybe three, maybe three. We'll see how it goes, man. Like I said, I got my family over now. I didn't know they was gonna be here early, so that's on me, family. That's on me. But yeah, so like it. Let's just get around to this, right? But it reads, that's the pride. Yeah, that's a fact, sis. That's a fact. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. This is one of like the most famous scriptures that us Hebrew Israelites like to bring out, but it's the truth. It should never get old to bring this out because we got to prepare our souls for temptation. We got to prepare our souls for what the devil's gonna come at us with, man. Say like, this the world that we live in is like a boxing match, man. So, and we know that, the adversary is gonna throw his jabs. So our job as the person in the ring as well is to, weave, you know what I mean? Weave, maybe jab back, maybe, have good footwork so that you can move around better. We got to be prepared for whatever, essentially God has in store for us, either good or evil. But yeah, let's continue though. Verse 2. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Yeah, always endure, man. Last those 12 rounds in the ring and make not haste in time of trouble. You know, um, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at that last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, right? Whatever happens, man, whatever happens in the ring, if you get knocked out and it takes you a while to get back up, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, man. Take cheerfully in that what's the word that I'm looking for? In that adversity. Take cheer in that because that's only going to help you grow, man. Everything that we experience here in this life, it's for a reason. The good and the bad, right? We got to appreciate the good and the bad, man. I love the bad so much because I know I can reflect on it and become a better person. It's damn near not fun just celebrating wins, right? It's way more fun when you're celebrating a win after a grand loss. You know what I mean? If I just if I was just winning all the time, man, it damn near feel kind of vain. So take cheer in whatever the Most High has in store for you. But yeah, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. You gotta be patient, family. Got to. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. For gold is trying the fire, man. We got to put gold into the furnace so that it can become perfect, right? Yahweh Jesus Christ had to get crucified so that he can be the perfect sacrifice, right? Believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy and go not aside lest ye fall. Man, my dog want to come inside the room right now. Hold on, let's see. Salakia family. I'm gonna have to get up real fast. But verse 8, Salakia. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see, right? So we should study our past. We should study our ancestors and our generations because that's who we can learn from, right? That's who we can learn from. Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever, or did even, I think it's ever, did ever any trust in the Lord? It was confounded. Did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Like, did your ancestors actually fear the Lord? That's what this book is trying to say. Did your ancestors actually fear the Lord? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Right. So these are rhetorical questions that he's asking, man. Because if your ancestors didn't really fear the Lord, then we got to learn from that. We got to really learn from that. We got to be the better example. So yeah, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth the time of affliction, and saveth in time of affliction. Break the curses and shalom Ashire. Exactly. We gotta break those curses, man. We got to. Woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. One to him that is faint hearted, for he believeth not. The faint hearted, man. The person that's not really, really thinking that much, or really in tuned in his mind, or whatever the case, man. Woe unto him, man. That's a curse, man. If your mind is not even there, man. If you have an empty mind, not thinking about the law, statutes, and commandments, or if you're just thinking about vain things, man, woe unto him, man. It's a curse. For he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. The Most High is not going to defend you if you're faint in heart, if you don't have faith. Because what happened to Peter, man, when he started losing faith, in the ocean? He started drowning, and Jesus Christ had to pick him back up. We can't be faint in heart, or else we're going to drown like Peter did. But yeah, let's keep going. Woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you, man? Oh, what are you going to do when you lost patience? And what are you going to do when the person that created you finally meets you face to face? Man, you're going to be, oh, that's a scary sight, man. That's a scary sight, man. I hope none of us in this chat, or none of us that looks at this video, loses patience and meets the Lord that way, right? Salakia, verse 15. They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is pleasing. Salakia, will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. So if you love the Most High God, you're gonna love the law. The law being the first 5 books of the Bible, man. That's what the law consists of. But yeah, they that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy. Right. That's a great way to end the chapter, man. We're not gonna fall into the hands of men. Right. Us believers, right? Me being a believer of the way, right? We're gonna fall into the hands of the Lord. Lord willing. And just like how the first verse is saying, prepare thy soul for temptation, right? The last verse is saying, we shall fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men, right? We can't fall for that temptation of falling into the hands of men. All right. Let's continue though. Let's continue. All right. So like I'm just looking at the chat, y'all. All right. I'm gonna keep on going though, family. This is chapter 3. Let's get right into this. Let me zoom in a little more. Now let me zoom out. Try to get the perfect. All right. All right. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear me, your father, O children, and do thereafter that ye may be safe. For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and have confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. Right. So this is just, see, está bien. No. My bad, family. My dog wanted to come inside my room. You good, Wow Wow? All right, yeah, he's good. All right. Salakia, family. And like I said, I live right next to the train, so you guys are gonna hear the train as well, man. So no, está bien. Está bien. Sí, está bien. Yeah. All right. So yeah, Salakia, family. So yeah, this is just it's talking about the order of things, right? The father should have honor over the children, and obviously the mother should have authority over the children as well. That's just how the dynamic is, right? We should listen to our mothers and fathers. That's just, you know what I mean? That's just nature. That's just biology for real. But yeah, verse 3. Whoso honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sins. And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure, right? So yeah. So if we honor our parents, that should be like a way of forgiveness for our sins. And obviously, if we honor it says our mother, that's a treasure, man. That's a treasure. We're laying up our treasures in heaven, right? Like how I think that's like Matthew 6, where it talks about that. But yeah, like in the latter part of the chapter. But yeah. Verse 5 though, family. Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children, and when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard. He that honoreth his father shall have a long life, and he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother, right? Self-explanatory, right? It's always good to have, to be obedient, right? But yeah, he that feareth the Lord will honor his father and will do service unto his parents as to his masters. Honor thy father and mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come unto thee from them. For the blessing of the father establisheth the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations, man. Right. So the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations. I mean, it's kind of just, it's pretty much just saying, like, man, sometimes, you know, um, a mother could really just be like, what's the way I can put it? Could be like a virus or a disease almost, man. Because if your mother, man, if your mother is not, ruling in the right authority, then it can root out the foundations, right? So that's very important too, right? Let me see what's going on. All right. Verse 10 though. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for the father's dishonor is no glory unto thee, right? For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and the mother is in dishonor, right? Is a reproach to the children. My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth. Right. So honor your father, man. But it's also saying don't grieve him as long as he liveth. Just appreciate everything that he's giving you as far as wisdom, as far as just inheritance, whatever the case may be, right? But don't grieve him too long, man, because then you're holding yourself back too at that. Right. It is a powerful chapter, though, sister. Um, but yeah, verse 13. And if his understanding fail, have patience with him and despise him not when thou art in thy full strength. So if you're going at it with your parents and whatnot, have patience with them, man, and despise them not. That's just wisdom, man. Um, I like to give this example to brothers that first get into the truth and still live with their folks, right? I always tell them, man, don't start arguments every single time they're going off, or you disagree with something that they're doing. Don't be that guy, right? Be patient with them. Be patient with your family because that's your family, that's your blood. Obviously, don't be a respecter of persons, but when it comes to family, I'll say like, hey, be smooth with your words when you're even trying to talk to them about the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Because if not, then you're just gonna be in a fiery household, man. If you're just fiery all the time and rebuking your parents or rebuking your siblings, everybody's just gonna hate you. I'm gonna be completely honest, man. Um, so with that being said, use wisdom, be patient, just don't despise them. So yeah, that's just like some wisdom that the family can use just in case they're in that predicament, right? But yeah, for the re for the re for the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins it shall be added to build thee up. In the day of thine affliction it shall be remembered. Thy sins also shall melt away, as the ice in the fair warm weather. I think this symbol right here, family, if I'm not mistaken, is like a symbol for the word the, right? But like I said, this 1611 translation is hella crazy. This word right here is ice. It's not yice, it's ice, man. So yeah, this translation is kind of crazy with the spelling, man. But it's all right though. He that forsaketh his father is as a blasphemer, and he that angereth his mother is curse of God. So that's why I'm trying to say, like, don't be trying to start stuff in your household, man, because bro, like you're gonna, it's not gonna be good, man. It's not gonna be good. You're just gonna reap bad bad rewards at the end of the day if you're just hella loudmouth at your family when they're not doing right. Be patient, family, when trying to correct a family, bro. Honestly, when trying to correct your mother and your father and your siblings, be patient with them. I've seen too many times when, and even for myself, even um, I've seen myself, you know what I mean, be in bad circumstances where people, because I was too fiery, man. I was too loudmouth. That's why in the Bible it says, a wise man, shuts his lips, man. Just paraphrasing. But yeah, let's continue though. Verse 17. My son, go on with thy business in meekness, so shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. You said, Elias, you said, I feel bad for our ancestors had to hear this weird language. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy though. But I ain't gonna lie though, if they heard how we were speaking, if they heard how we were spelling things too, they probably say the same thing too, man. So there ain't really nothing new under the sun. And just like our ancestors would probably be freaked out if they heard us speaking English and Spanish and French when obviously they only know Hebrew. I don't even think Latin was a created language when Hebrew was, obviously being spoken first. So, it's crazy because yeah, that's where all these languages derive from Latin and stuff. So in Greek. Um, but yeah, where I leave off at. Yeah, verse 17. Verse 18. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. Many are in highest place and are in our renown, but mysteries re- are revealed unto the meek, right? Mysteries are revealed unto the meek. Joseph, for example, he was able to interpret those dreams because he was living in meekness, man. So Become more meek, family. If you want to be like Joseph, if you want to interpret dreams, if you want to be of a higher stature, we gotta start right here, right? With the meekness, right? With being meek. But yeah, let's continue. Verse 20. For the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly, right? He honors, the lowly, man. He honors the people of low estate, right? That's why, he loves us so much, right? Us blacks, Hispanics, and Native indigenous people. He honors us, right? I don't know why he chose us. He didn't have to choose Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but he did anyways, right? Because he knew he was gonna make us low and whatnot. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, we won the lottery when it comes to the love of God, man. All praises. But yeah, seek not out the things that are too hard for thee, neither search out the things that are above thy strength. And this is really important too. I kind of want to harken on this real fast, right? Because a lot of the time, well, I won't say a lot of the time, but there are some things that are just too high for people. Like, for example, man, I've never been in space, so I'm not just gonna talk about the universe and stuff like that as if I've been in space and explored the galaxies and stuff like that. I don't know what the hell is going on in space, man. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna talk about it. If you don't know about a topic, don't put yourself in a conversation where you gotta talk about that topic, right? I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I've never been to space, bro. So that stuff is just way too high for me, bro. Literally, man. Literally, it's too high, bro. I can't even, you know what I mean? So yeah, y'all get the point, right? But yeah, let's continue. Verse 22. But what is commanded on Salakia? But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence, for it is not needful for thee to see with thy eyes the things that are in secret, right? So some things, man, are just going to be a secret, right? It's kind of like we'll figure out, if we'll be a high stature in the kingdom when we get there, man. I'm not going to try to search out the matter. I'm not going to try to look and try to find the book of life that's talked about in the book of Revelations to see whether or not I'm gonna reap the benefits in the kingdom. That's too high for me. I've never seen the book of life. I've never taken out and written a name in the book of life. Man, that's too high for me. I'm not gonna put myself as that number. Right? I think Paul talks about that, man. Don't put yourself into that number of just being a-okay with God and whatnot, right? So some things are just too high for us, man. And it's all right. We'll see. We will get the answer when we'll get it, man. And that's just wisdom. That's just wisdom, right? And that goes for everything too. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, right? For more things are showed unto thee than men understand, right? All right. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and this is a great one too, because we like to go here too, man. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Sometimes, man, sometimes we listen to the devil on our shoulder too much, man. I'm gonna just be completely honest, man. And we run with it. We run with it. We run with the, hey, like, matter of fact, like, you know, I think working on the Sabbath ain't too bad after all, man. I think, it's cool. We're not in the wilderness no more, right? God didn't, God didn't, give me the 10 commandments on Mount Sinai, right? I don't think we got to work on the Sabbath for real, right? Or I don't think I mean it's like, yeah, I don't think we can, or I think it's okay to work on the Sabbath, matter of fact. I think it's okay to work on the Sabbath. Salakia if I was saying it wrong the whole time. But yeah, nah, don't listen to those thoughts, man. Don't listen to that devil on the shoulder, man. Because the devil on the shoulder is going to tell you to break the Sabbath, right? Don't listen to your own vain thoughts, man. Right? Because it's going to deceive you, right? But yeah, let's continue. Without eyes, thou shalt want light. Profess not the knowledge therefore that thou hast not. A stubborn heart shall fare evil at the last, and he that loveth danger shall perish therein. Mm. I mean, that's just self-explanatory too, though. But yeah, this man, an obstinate heart shall be laden with sorrows, and the wicked man shall heap sin upon sin. In the punishment of the proud there is no remedy, for the plant of wickedness have taken root in him. Right. The heart of the prudent will understand a parable, and a additive ear is the desire of a wise man, right? And an attentive, my bad. And an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man. So a prudent person is like a person that looks into the future, man. He's gonna understand the parable. And an attentive ear, man, a person that's willing to listen is gonna seek desire from a wise man. Water will quench a flaming fire, and alms making of atonement for sins. You know, water is obviously going to kill a fire, and giving is a way, you know, giving is a good way to have your sins forgiven as well, right? And he that um requireth good turns or requiteth good turns is mindful of that which may come hereafter, and when he falleth he shall find a stay. Salakia fam, I do not know what this word is saying. um I wish I had my physical on me. I don't have my physical on me though, my physical Bible, but yeah, I think I'm gonna just end off right there though, right? I think I'm just gonna end off right there, family. All right. Nah, but let me see the comments real quick. Buying on the Sabbath, yeah, no, buying on the Sabbath is crazy, man. If brothers are saying, matter of fact, I'm gonna buy on the Sabbath because it only says, don't work these certain days and don't make your cattle work. Nah, come on, man. Do better. You say it means to repay. All right, the water king. Or the water says, my bad. Oh, return or reward. Oh yeah, the water. The water, yeah. All right. Con. Appreciate the clarification. Nah, but I think I'm gonna end off right there though, family. Like I said, I wanted to kind of make this short and sweet. I also kind of do want to do a Q&A kind of at the same time. So I don't know if you guys have any other questions or any questions in general. If you guys do, please let me know. I'm more than willing to try to answer the question that you guys may have. But if not, I'll kind of just leave it at that. We kind of just went over 3 chapters of the book of Sirach, a book of wisdom, a book of parables, a book of dark sayings, etc. Um, this is an amazing book to kind of just like get into, like, your wisdom bag. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a deep song in a way. Like, it's bars after bars after bars, right? With double entendres. So that's why I love this. That's why I love this book, because it kind of reminds me of a song. Because a good song is going to have double entendres. A good song is going to have double meanings of certain things. Um, yeah, and Thwada, sis, I appreciate you saying that you love the read along. I hope it was edifying, to the masses, and Lord willing, I get to do this more often too. Today I didn't go street preaching, so I kind of just wanted to use my time to do something else, man, for the flock, right? So I don't know if you guys have questions though. All right, yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, no, and honestly, if I'm not gonna say if, I'm gonna say when I do this next time, I'm gonna just continue to from chapter 4 and on. Um, and like I said, family, my bad for my family members coming in too. You know what I mean? I might just do my lesson elsewhere, like kind of in like an office, so that it can be of a just like a more professional setting. I'm here in my bedroom right now, so sometimes the house can get loud. Latin households, man. We just be it don't matter, right? But yeah, I just wanted to say that, family. But with that being said, I don't think we have any other questions. So yeah, let me just it just said as a homie feel to it. Yeah, nah, it really does. Like, I mean, it's just you know what I mean. It's just what it is at the end of the day, family. And like I said, I live right next to a train, so but I probably got to do it elsewhere, anyways. Man, that train is hella loud. But yeah, with that being said, family, I appreciate y'all following along. Um, putting comments down as well. I really do appreciate it. I feel the love from my family. Sincerely, my Yasharala family. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that though. Um, if you guys have any other like sit down recommendations too, by all means, put it in the comment section. But I hope y'all had a great new moon. I hope y'all have a great rest of your Shabbat. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that though, family. Like I said, God bless to y'all. And like I said, if you guys have any other recommendations and whatnot for sit down lessons, feel free to put it down in the comment section. With that, I'm gonna leave y'all to it. All right, then, family. Shalom, shalom, shalom.